Don't people about your problems. Risk of misunderstanding. Not everyone will understand or empathize with your experiences, and sharing can lead to unwanted advice, judgment, or criticism that may make you feel worse. Privacy and vulnerability. When you share personal struggles, you make yourself vulnerable. Not everyone respects this, and some people may misuse your information or see it as a weakness. Emotional contagion. Sharing problems frequently can weigh heavily on others, especially if they feel helpless in providing support. It can strain relationships if friends or family members begin to feel overwhelmed. Personal growth. Solving problems on your own can build resilience, self-reliance, and confidence. When you learn to manage your challenges independently, it can lead to deeper personal development. Avoiding gossip or rumors. Some people may unintentionally spread your personal issues or discuss them with others, even when they mean no harm. Limiting what you share can help prevent your struggles from becoming gossip. When we share our personal struggles with others, there's always the risk of being misunderstood. This isn't necessarily due to any fault of the listener, but more to do with the nature of communication and how complex human experiences can be. Each person brings their own background, biases, and perceptions into a conversation, which can influence how they interpret what you say. For example, you may share a struggle that feels deeply important or distressing to you, but the listener might not see it with the same level of seriousness or may have difficulty grasping why it affects you as it does. Even well-meaning friends or family members might jump to conclusions, downplay your concerns, or offer solutions that don't fit because they haven't fully absorbed what you're going through. This is especially true if they haven't personally experienced a similar situation. Their advice or reactions may stem from their own worldview or past experiences, which might lead them to give input that doesn't resonate with you. This can feel invalidating or disappointing, as the lack of understanding can make it seem as though your experiences or emotions are being dismissed. In some cases, people may even offer unsolicited advice that feels irrelevant or oversimplified, which can make you feel worse rather than better. Another aspect is that misunderstanding can lead to unintended consequences. For instance, you might confide in someone seeking support or empathy, but instead, they react with pity, blame, or even impatience. In more complicated situations, they might interpret your problem through a different lens, perhaps focusing on what they think you should be doing instead of simply listening. These reactions can come across as judgmental or condescending, which can feel hurtful or create additional emotional stress. In the end, the conversation may leave you feeling misunderstood or even more isolated, as if your experiences are being minimized or misrepresented. Sharing personal struggles also opens up the possibility that someone might unknowingly misinterpret or twist your words when recounting your issues to others, which can lead to gossip or altered perceptions about you. Even if this isn't intentional, it can contribute to a feeling of betrayal or frustration. If your story or problem is retold inaccurately, it could lead others to form a perception of you based on incomplete or distorted information. Opening up to someone about personal struggles requires a significant amount of trust because in doing so, we reveal aspects of ourselves that may feel raw, personal, or even a little uncomfortable. This act of sharing is inherently vulnerable. It involves letting someone into our inner world, which often includes fears, insecurities, and doubts that we may usually work hard to keep private. When we decide to disclose these deeper aspects of ourselves, there is an unavoidable risk involved. Not everyone will treat this kind of information with the care it deserves, and once shared, there is little control over how others may perceive or even use what we've told them. This vulnerability becomes even more pronounced because it can expose us to judgment, criticism, or pity. For example, confiding in someone about a struggle with mental health, relationship issues, or financial difficulties could lead them to see us differently. Some people may unintentionally label us by our struggles or see us as defined by these challenges rather than recognizing them as parts of our life that we are actively managing. This shift in perception can be disheartening, especially if we start to feel that others are viewing us through the lens of our hardships rather than our strengths, character, or resilience. Moreover, once someone knows our struggles, it can feel like there's a part of ourselves that we've handed over, a piece of personal information that now resides with someone else. Even well-meaning friends or family members might not fully realize the weight of this responsibility, and they may bring it up in future conversations, share it unintentionally with others, or mention it in contexts where we don't feel comfortable discussing it. There's also the concern that in some cases people might use this information to their advantage, whether in moments of frustration, conflict, or even unintentionally, by referencing it in a way that feels invasive or insensitive. This vulnerability of sharing personal struggles also opens the door to reactions we might not anticipate or want. Some people, even with the best intentions, may overstep boundaries, offering unsolicited advice or trying to fix the situation instead of simply listening and providing support. This can leave us feeling exposed and as though our privacy has been disregarded, as the focus shifts from our need to express or process to their desire to intervene or take control. In some situations, others might downplay the issue or respond in ways that minimize our experiences, which can amplify feelings of isolation or shame and discourage us from opening up in the future. When we share our problems or challenges with others, there is an impact beyond the words we convey. Emotions are highly contagious. This phenomenon is known as emotional contagion. It means that our feelings, whether they are sadness, anxiety, frustration, or despair, can be easily absorbed by the people we confide in, especially if they are close to us. While sharing can be a relief for the one expressing these emotions, it can also place a heavy emotional load on the listener, who may begin to feel similar emotions as they empathize and try to understand what we're going through. Emotional contagion happens because as social beings, we have an instinctive ability to mirror and feel the emotions of others. This is largely due to mirror neurons in our brains, which activate when we see someone else experiencing emotions, leading us to feel a reflection of that emotion ourselves. For instance, when we share a deeply sad experience, the listener may feel a twinge of sadness themselves, even if they haven't gone through the same situation. This is a natural empathetic response, but it can sometimes become overwhelming for the listener, especially if they are sensitive or deeply caring. For those who are close to us, such as family members or close friends, this emotional transfer can become particularly intense. They may feel our distress as if it's their own, leading them to worry or feel anxious about our situation, even though it is not directly affecting their own lives. In the case of ongoing problems like prolonged health issues, job insecurity, or relationship struggles, the emotional toll can accumulate, causing those we share with to feel helpless or burdened by an emotional weight they didn't initially carry. This can create a ripple effect where they, in turn, may become stressed, tired, or even more withdrawn as they struggle with the lingering effects of absorbing these emotions. Additionally, because emotional contagion can be so powerful, it may change the dynamic of a relationship, especially if one person frequently shares their challenges with the same listener. Over time, the listener may feel that the relationship has shifted toward a focus on problem solving or emotional support rather than a balanced, mutual connection. This can lead to compassion fatigue, where the listener feels emotionally drained and less capable of providing support, even if they genuinely want to be there for the other person. They may experience guilt or frustration, torn between wanting to help and feeling overwhelmed by the emotional load. This, in turn, may lead them to distance themselves somewhat or feel uneasy about future conversations, fearing they will again end up feeling emotionally weighed down. Another important aspect of personal growth through self-reliance is emotional resilience. Facing difficulties alone can be daunting, but it can also help us build a thicker skin, preparing us to handle stress, uncertainty, and disappointment more effectively. When we work through our struggles without immediate external support, we practice patience and learn to regulate our emotions, which contributes to our overall emotional maturity. This emotional resilience is a key part of growth, as it means we become less susceptible to feeling derailed or disheartened by setbacks. With each experience, we develop a more grounded perspective on challenges, recognizing that they are temporary and that we possess the capacity to work through them. Facing problems independently also encourages us to deepen our self-reflection, as we must look inward to understand our motivations, fears, and desires. When we solve a problem by ourselves, it often requires introspection to get to the root of the issue and consider why it affects us in the way that it does. This reflection can lead to greater self-knowledge as we uncover aspects of ourselves that might have gone unnoticed if we had simply asked someone else to help us manage the situation. This self-discovery can lead to transformative growth, allowing us to see patterns in our behavior, habits, or thinking that may need to change for us to become the person we aspire to be. By identifying and addressing these inner tendencies, we take an active role in shaping our personal development. In our interconnected world, the potential for gossip and rumors to circulate is ever present, and this reality can create significant anxiety for individuals when considering whether to share their personal struggles. Gossip can spread like wildfire, morphing and evolving as it moves from person to person, often stripping away context and nuance. When we share our problems with others, especially in casual settings, there is a risk that what we disclose may not remain confidential. Even well-meaning friends or family members may unintentionally let slip information we would prefer to keep private. This concern is a valid one. Once something is shared, we relinquish control over how it may be interpreted or discussed by others. The repercussions of gossip can be profound and multifaceted. When personal issues become the subject of conversation among acquaintances or even close friends, it can lead to feelings of embarrassment, shame, or even betrayal. The distortion of our words and experiences can create a narrative that doesn't reflect our truth, potentially leading others to form opinions about us based on incomplete or misconstrued information. This can damage our reputation and alter how we are perceived within our social circles, leading to unwarranted judgments or assumptions. For example, if someone were to share a struggle with mental health, that information could be misconstrued, leading others to see them as fragile or unstable, which may not align with their reality. Moreover, the spread of gossip can foster an environment of mistrust and anxiety. If we know that someone is prone to sharing personal information, we may become hesitant to open up, leading to a cycle of isolation. This reluctance to share can inhibit authentic relationships, making it difficult to connect on a deeper level. Genuine friendship thrives on trust and openness, but when there is a fear that personal struggles will be used as fodder for gossip, it creates barriers that can impede emotional closeness. Individuals may feel that they have to wear a mask, portraying an image of strength or stability that does not accurately reflect their internal experiences. Additionally, gossip and rumors can perpetuate stigma around certain issues. When personal challenges, especially those related to mental health, financial difficulties, or family struggles are discussed without care or context, they can reinforce negative stereotypes. For instance, if someone shares their struggle with anxiety and that information gets exaggerated or misrepresented, it may lead others to view mental health issues as a personal failing rather than a complex and common human experience. This can make individuals less likely to seek help or share their struggles in the future, perpetuating a cycle of silence and shame surrounding important issues.